we all know the purpose of the subcommittee. And today our business is to listen to the department on progress that has been made as it relates to the public protector's report, as it relates to the conversion of vehicles. Colleagues, we have also received a lot of information from the support team as we had requested. And I hope that we have been going through it such that we are able to engage fully. But today, we would like to hear from the department an update. That update will also assist us to reflect, or rather to refresh our memories as to how far the department has gone. If we recall well, we agreed that today the department will update us, which then forms our agenda on work with illegally converted vehicles and the remaining identified operators' progress. They will update us on matters referred to SIU in regard to these illegal conversions, if any progress has been made. Update on progress made by Monitoring and Evaluation Committee to address the issue, to DG in Public Protector report. Update on design of current licensing system and other systems. So let us allow the department or invite the department at this point in time. Advocate Makhato, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairperson. Good afternoon to honorable members.
I hope you are aware.
Indeed. Yes, I am, my Chairperson. Yeah, a bit tired from the driving, but it's okay.
Okay. Are you the only one?
No, others will be coming in. Okay. No, I'm not. They will be coming in, Chairperson.
But so you are leading us in this matter.
We just did not want to waste.
Okay.
Indeed, I am, Chairperson.
All right. The floor is yours,
all right.
Advocate. I'm sure you were given
I'm not
the
so
brief.
sure.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I was. There's a presentation, if I may ask the Secretariat to put it up, that we prepared so that we go through it. And okay. For ease of reference.
Can I just say, members, I have not received a presentation in advance, but I'm giving Mr. Makhato a co-host privileges so that he can flight the presentation for members now.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Are you able to do that, Advocate?
Let me try to share, Chairperson. Can we all see that, the presentation?
It's still loading. Yes, we can see the presentation.
Thank you, Chairperson.
And you may go ahead. We will ask questions at the end. Members, it will be the same routine. Let's take notes and then we'll ask questions at the end. Please go ahead, Advocate.
Thanks, Chairperson. May I also tender an apology for the DG because of other pressing commitments. But then, like I said, I've been delegated to lead in this regard as the acting DDG Public Transport. Without wasting time, Chairperson, also tender an apology for my colleagues who will also be joining in. Let me go through the presentation. It's about 14 slides and made up as follows. We start off with the purpose. We move on to the background, progress and update, an update on the breakdown per province of the number of panel vans, a draft proclamation that we have prepared, and then we update on other issues emanating from the Public Protector report. We also look at the update on the system redesign of the NLTIS, and we made recommendations in that regard. The purpose of this presentation, Chairperson, is to indeed provide an update on the scrapping of illegally converted Toyota Quanta panel vans in compliance with the Public Protector's remedial action. And as members of this subcommittee might be aware, in 2009, when the department became aware of the unsafe practices of illegally converting panel vans into passenger vehicles, we were approached, the taxi industry approached the then Minister of Transport, seeking an intervention to assist them. And then on the 11th, the then Minister approved a process of rectification through what is termed retrofitment. As a department, we did a data filtration, and we found that 2,353 vehicles were identified as illegally converted panel van vehicles, with 436 were retrofit. The balance of the identified panel vans continue to operate illegally, Chairperson. And as part of progress and update, the Public Protector issued their remedial action on the 27th of March 2019. Insofar as the department was concerned, the remedial action was that the panel vans must be scrapped through the taxi recapitalization program. There was the data extrapolated by RTMC and the taxi recapitalization South Africa, the service provider appointed for scrapping, and then 1,916 panel vans were identified that could possibly qualify for scrapping. Only 1,226 of these vehicles had operating licenses and were eligible for scrapping, since the operating license, you might recall, honorable members, is a prerequisite to qualify.
My dear.
Okay, I hear noise in the background, Chairperson. Should I continue?
Okay. Yes, continue. I'm not
only...
sure where the noise is coming from, but keep on going. We'll try and sort it out.
Okay, thanks, Chairperson. Of the 1,226, only 503 submitted applications for scrapping since April 2019, implying, Chairperson, that there are 723 that are still outstanding. And the slide up there, Chairperson, is a breakdown per province, which I'm not going to waste the subcommittee's time, but that this presentation will be shared with the Secretariat and it can be readily made available. If, with your permission, may I move on to the next slide?
Just hold on to it a little bit. Let's give colleagues, maybe they might want to take some few notes. I didn't want to make a fuss about not having it before, but rather we go slower. Yes, I think that should be enough.
Maybe let me just...
Yes, Advocate.
May I also suggest, Chairperson, with your permission, that if there is a question relating to any of the slides, because they've been numbered, we can go back to them.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can continue. You can continue, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I just thought this slide
has
got very critical information. Go ahead. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Chairperson. And what appears there is a draft proclamation that we've prepared, which the Minister would sign off in this regard. It provides as follows, that as the Minister of Transport, acting in terms of Section 5(4)(g) of the NLTA, he hereby issues a directive set out in the schedule hereto on measures relating to public transport on the safety of passengers. Now, the schedule reads as follows: whereas the Department of Transport introduced a taxi recapitalization program as a consequence of unsafe taxis that resulted in injury and loss of life, whereas in 2005, Toyota panel vans were converted into minibus taxis illegally. These vehicles did not comply with the requisite safety standards for passenger carrying vehicles. The Public Protector of South Africa found in the report titled, quote, illegal conversions of Toyota panel vans into minibus taxis, close quote, issued on the 27th of March 2019, that the department is to ensure that there is no Toyota panel van that has been converted into a minibus taxi to carry passengers on the South African roads. Whereas the taxi recapitalization program has already commenced with the process to scrap illegally converted panel vans as per the remedial action of the Public Protector, whereas 2,253 illegal converted panel vans were identified by the department as being illegally converted. And of the converted panel vans, 436 were retrofit, whereas 1,917 will have to be scrapped. The owner of the illegally converted Toyota panel van must have an operating license or permit linked to the vehicle and must be in the owner's name in order to qualify for the scrapping allowance. The process of scrapping Toyota panel van is not finalized. The Minister hereby, acting in terms of Section 5(4)(g) Roman figure 2 of the NLTA in order to ensure safety of passengers, directs that A, all the owners of illegally converted panel vans must surrender their vehicles to the taxi recap within 4 months from the date of publication of this notice. And B, no illegally converted panel vans will be allowed to transport passengers for reward after 4 months period contemplated in paragraph A has lapsed, and law enforcement shall impound all the illegally converted panel vans. I move on to the next slide. Now, this is an update on other issues that are emanating from the PP's report. Suffice it to state that, Chairperson, that no report was received from the SIU with regard to compliance matters.
Advocate Makata,
Chairperson?
Can you try and be stable on your mic? We tend to lose you intermittently.
Oh, sorry.
Just try and be stable as much as possible, please. Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that. My apologies, Chairperson. Okay. On the issue of SIU matters that have been referred to them on illegal panel vents, we would want to report that no report has been received from SIU with regard to compliance matters related to the proclamation. That there's an update that towards the end of the presentation, we make a proposal, Chairperson. I will come back to this point. Insofar as update on progress made in addressing issues referred to the DG in the Public Protector's report, we report as follows. On ensuring that measures taken and agreed to with the Minister are implemented. We've commenced as a department with the redesign of the NLTIS to close gaps that may have been exploited. We've engaged with the SIU to investigate the irregularities and manipulation of the system. We're in the process of issuing a proclamation announcing the cutoff date for the grace period to qualify for scrapping. That's what I've referred to earlier on. And on ensuring that there is no Toyota panel van that has been converted into a minibus on our South African roads. All the identified panel vans have been admin marked on the native system, and their licenses cannot be renewed. We move on to the next slide. On the redesign of the NLTIS system, the following has been covered under the scope of work: integration of the system with the Geographical Information System, GIS, interoperability with NATIS, engagement or liaise with national, provincial, and municipal stakeholders to gather the functional requirements, an interface as far as possible with provincial system captain provinces. In this regard, there are, I think, 2 provinces that have their own system, Western Cape and KZN, if my recollection serves me well. A migration of data from historical systems like land transport payment system into the new OLAS, or Operating License Administration. As a continuation thereof, the inclusion of the new modules for National Public Transport Regulator also in the Transport Appeal Tribunals, system design alignment to user requirements specifications, user acceptance testing, that there be legitimate migration of data and system testing. What is still outstanding insofar as the redesign of the system is concerned would be the data migration from historical system like OLAS and into LTPS into OLAS, the interoperability of the system. This is in line with the NLTA requirements. Interface with the South African Receiver of Revenues tax compliance vetting. Home Affairs, will be for validation of ID number and status, and SAPS insofar as criminal activity checks are required, and the full system testing and implementation. May we also add that we've sought to extend the contract of the service provider, which was ending in September, that because of COVID, it will be ending somewhere in March at no cost, Chairperson, because these are the things that they would need to do. Insofar as way forward is concerned, the Minister has committed to, 1, engage with the technical committee. In the last meeting that Chairperson and honorable members were present, meet with Toyota to lobby for their contribution in resolving the challenge, to meet with SIU to expand their mandate on the current Proclamation 37, which is meant to investigate, amongst others, irregularities, and then that we issue a proclamation setting a deadline for the discontinuation of use of illegally converted panel vans. We've gone through the example. Chairperson, we've come to the end of the presentation. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Advocate. Colleagues and whoever is on the platform, can we request that when you are not speaking, we keep our mics or all the gadgets muted, please? That will be appreciated. Colleagues, there is the presentation from the department. I had one comment or a question, but I will leave it to the last. Can I see by show of hands who would like to ask questions or give comments? I've noted Honorable Hunsinger. Can I note some more hands? Okay, looks like for now it's still one hand. Honorable Hunsinger, please do go ahead. Oh, I meant lifting the hand on the system, not where you are seated. Okay. All right, I've noted the Honorable Sitole. Let me check again. Anybody else who's struggling to raise their hand on the system? I only have Honorable Hunsinger, followed by Honorable Sitole. Any other member? That's the first round. Okay, number 3 will be Honorable McDonald. I'll give you another chance. Anyhow, I want us to engage a bit robustly on this matter if we are to achieve anything, colleagues. So I am going to allow you to make follow-up questions should you feel like your question has not been adequately responded to. So I've noted Honorable Hunsinger, followed by Honorable Sitole, followed by Honorable McDonald. Honorable Hunsinger, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chairperson. Can I also request that the PowerPoint be removed from the screen? Since it's a bit of a distraction, I prefer to speak to faces than the PowerPoint that we've just viewed. Related to that, thank you very much, Acting DDG Advocate Magato. And please don't feel attacked in terms of the questions.
Honorable Hunsinger. Okay, there we go. Thank you. I wanted it to be removed. It's removed. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairperson. I appreciate it. Advocate, you mentioned that the department became aware of illegally converted panel vans to taxis in 2009. However, there has been reports and there is evidence that the department knew about this as soon as 2005. If you do not have information on any of these, I'm happy not to get the answer now. And we can obviously get answers or verification in a different way as well. I'm related to that. I would also want to know why 15 years and nothing has happened in the meantime. My next question is with regards to the taxi recapitalization program, which seems to be the only solution within the scope of recommendations from the Public Protector's report. Do you regard the 124,000 rands offered to owners of taxis as an adequate solution, given that the expense in purchasing the taxi is a lot more? your response to that. Again, around the fact that the department, according to you, only became aware of this phenomenon from 2009. How did the department attain this knowledge? In what way was the department made aware of how did the department become aware of this in 2009, as you say? In terms of the retrofitment program, do you regard the retrofitment program as an adequate one, given the fact that there are manufacturing specifications and that there is a particular body from Department of Trade and Industry responsible for safety checks and for adequacy checks in terms of homologation process? So could you give us your impression of the retrofitment process and how this fits into the requirements around homologation and MIB specifications? The numbers that you mention on the amount of illegal taxis, we start with a 2,353 in number. Was this the number that was assessed at the time and no other assessments undertaken? Or can you give us the absolute assurance that the 2,353 in number of illegally converted taxis are the total number of illegally converted taxis on our roads as we stand now? Or is it a number that was assessed at the time and the only number that was worked with? The 436 retrofitted taxis, what is the status around them? Where are they? And has other taxis been through this retrofitment process? The next question is, did the department meet with the public protector where the taxi recapitalization program was discussed as a solution prior to the submission or release of the public protector's report? I would like to hear your comments around three conventions and agreements, and those are the Paris Agreement, the TRIPS Agreement, and the Berne Convention or Agreement. Who would you say would be the guardian of those international agreements related to patent rights and related to intellectual property rights, of which we as a country is signatory of, given the fact that we are dealing with a locally manufactured and locally converted taxi, whereas the origin country is a member of this accord, given the conventions and the agreements that I've referred to. On your slide 8, you referred to irregularities and manipulation of the system, and I assume that we are talking of the e-NATIS system. Was it the case that someone could, as a third party, be the seller of a panel van converted taxi, go to a traffic department, have this vehicle registered from a 3-person to a 16 or whatever capacity person vehicle, get the license and everything, and deliver the vehicle without that owner ever being to the counter of a traffic office? Has this happened? Has it been investigated, and did this happen? Then the last question, Chairperson, for this round, on your slide 11, Advocate Mogato, you speaking and referring to the outstanding activities, and I would want Chairperson to recommend that we get further detail as on this, because at the end of the day, I'm sure, Advocate, you would agree that this is the turning point in terms of securing the system, building the firewalls back into the system, which would protect users and commuters in the future. So, Chairperson, I would recommend that slide 11 becomes a core part of, the process going forward. Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, Advocate Magatu.
Thank you, Honorable Hunsinga. Honorable Sithole. An advocate, should you not pick up a question, feel free to interject and ask for clarity. Yes, Honorable Sithole, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable
Will
Chairperson.
do. Thanks, Chairperson.
And thank you to Advocate Magatu for the presentation. But Chairperson, I think the presentation is not enough. Why I'm saying that is because if you see, the report says they received the information about this panel van in 2009, but the information is that the information, the department received the information in 2005. So what I'm trying to check, what happened from 2005 until 2009, because we must have that information. And the other Chairperson that I'm trying to check, the department localized this panel van through this scraping and of those panel van. But I'm trying to check, why are they? What happened before they take a decision that they are going to scrap this panel van? What happened to the manufacturers of those panel vans? And how many panel vans have been changed to a passenger minibuses? If they give us the full information of how many, because you see these numbers are not actually the number that we're supposed to have now. And the other thing that I'm trying to check, how come
Chairperson, may I rudely interrupt? Honorable Sithole broke up towards the latter end of the question they were posing. If they can just repeat that question, because I think you said how many. You posed the question around what happened to the manufacturers, and I think the second one was around the numbers. Sorry, Chairperson.
Yes, what I'm trying to check is that how many of these illegal panel van have the department give them the license? Because if you check that they have a disc, how can you give the disc something that's illegal, which is not permitted? And what I'm trying to check, how much have the department have spent now and paid to this scraping of this panel van? Because I see the number. If you can just, Advocate, give us exactly the number, the budget that was been budgeted for those panel van, and the scraping, how many, because it shows that it come to finalization of scraping of all those panel van. And the other Chairperson that I'm trying to check, when the department says the remedial action of the department was that this panel van must be scrapped through the taxi recapitalization program, it means if this was said by the department in 2009, but until today, it is 2020, there is no finalization of those scrapping of panel van. If they can give us exactly why is that thing take so long? And then the last one, Chairperson, is that I'm trying to check, according to their information, the figure, do they have a figure of how many accidents have been caused by this panel van per province, if they have that figure. If they don't have a figure, I can be happy if you can get that figure, because we must know now exactly what are we dealing with. And the last one, Chairperson, that I'm trying to check. If you check the provinces, especially Gauteng, they have 711. Initially, how many were there in Gauteng before this 711? And KZN 220 and Eastern Cape 169. Initially, if they do their research and their investigation, how many per province, how many actually initially of those panel vans have the provinces have? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Stolle. Honorable McDonald, the time is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Advocate Maguta. I want to add my voice to what most of the previous speakers have said. I'm very concerned that about that 436 retrofitted panel vans that were already illegally converted. Who approved the retrofitting homologation? Was it tested by the SABS and the NSIR? What was the NCAP certification afterwards? Because those panel vans are deaf. It's a coffin with wheels, and I don't understand it. Then the other thing is, what does it mean when 79 of these recapitalization is in progress? I mean, if I remember correctly, this is the same figure that they presented to us in 2019. So since then until now, they have not completed the recapitalization of those 79 taxis. How can it? What is the stumbling blocks? You bring the taxi, it gets scrapped, you give the money. How difficult can that be? It's not a process. Then I want to add what Honorable Stolle has said. There is many more taxis than those initial number that was initially in this report, the 2,353 taxis. I am telling you that if you're going to do a data mining now through the system, you will get another 1,500 taxis that have been illegally converted that might not even of the same Toyota panel vans. And I want to know, the department, how many physical taxis have since since the report was published and the 4-month period elapsed, how many taxis have actually been impounded, the actual number of taxis? And then, Chair, I think we need to get better information. We can't be working with figures from 2005 and 2009. The world has changed drastically since then. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Chairperson?
Honorable McDonald. Yes, Advocate.
Sorry, my rude interruption. Unfortunately, Honorable McDonald broke up on my end because I lost connection. I don't know whether probably is it because of the internet or bandwidth. But what
Did
Honorable
you get any
McDonald
question from you?
Yes, I did. The first one I got around the concern around the 436 and who approved the retrofitment, and that was NRCS and SABS involved, and was there an NCAP certification? And then lastly, when he started off with what does it mean? And then that's when he broke up. Sorry, Chairperson.
Okay, Chair, I've got no problem to repeat my questions. I wrote them down, Chair, if it's...
just the last one. He says it's the last one he didn't get.
Okay, I just wanted to know on the 79, what does it mean on the in progress? What does it mean? I want to know how long does it take for an actual taxi to be scrapped and the person receiving the money, because this is the same figures that they supplied to us as a portfolio committee in last year in 2019, Chair. And then I also wanted to know how many taxis were impounded since the date of the elapse of the time given by the public protector. And then I also said that as a closing statement, that the information that we have is lacking because it's nearly 12 years old or older than 10 years, and that the world has changed since then, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure you got it now, Advocate. Before you respond, Advocate Makhato, I want to say the following. My observation when you were presenting is that it appears that either you didn't do the presentation or prepare it yourself, or you prepared it long time ago and you didn't have time to go through it. I could be wrong. Now, I want you to understand that the purpose of the subcommittee is to get to the bottom of the gaps that are there, you know. So there will be a bit more rigorous interrogation of things like figures, things like facts, because we want to get to the bottom of this thing and be able to take this thing forward, because it has been very long. So I want you to have that at the back of your mind, that it's not the answers that you'll give and they go away. We will be coming back on the same thing. So I want you to give you an opportunity to respond to the questions as you have received them, Advocate. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Chairperson. Indeed, on our part, as a department, we are willing to comply and bring this matter to finality, Chairperson. And it would not be a skin of my nose if at all there would be a repeat of the same question or questions from the honorable members, Chairperson. That being said, I would want to say that I note my colleague, my colleagues, Mr. Manamela and Ms. Nhlanhla Nkosi are part of this meeting. And in case there's something that I missed or they would want to respond to, may I humbly request the chairperson to grant them that indulgence. Okay. Now, starting with the questions from Mr. Hunsinger.
to give them opportunity. But the report says the scrapping of that vehicle would be voluntary. So once the declaration is approved, then that window period, if people don't submit their vehicle voluntarily and the window period is closed, then those vehicles now forfeit the scrapping process. They forfeit to be paid the scrapping allowance, but those vehicles will be impounded because they can't renew their licenses. They can't go back on the road. Yeah, I think those are the issues in terms of the 2009 and 2005 chairperson. We might have to go back to the report, because even in the report we argued from the department side to say, was it really 2005? Because the report, when initially the complainant went to the public protector, was that this exercise started even beyond before 2005, but a Toyota Quantum came into the market in 2005. So that's where we were saying, yes, it might be around 2005, but because it only got into the market, the 15-seater, in 2005. The reason why the complaint came from the taxi industry, we'll have just to double check, but the issue was around, I think, issues of safety. Some of them were saying there was some safety. Let me not go into the details. We'll just have to double check in terms of what was the rationale for them to come and complain to the department. But it was more around, when you read the report, around the issue of safety. I think those are the few that I wanted to add, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Manamela. And Sis Nontandla. Sis Nontandla goes.
Yebo, Chairperson, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We wanted to hear your voice, you know.
No, good afternoon.
These men are sidelining you from the department. Is there anything you want to add on what has been said?
Chairperson, they've said everything. The only thing I can say is just to confirm what Advocate Makato said with regards to slide number 11 of the outstanding activities of the NLTIS project, that we are indeed working very hard to ensure that those outstanding activities, we complete them so that we are able to implement the system come the time of the end of the contract. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very protective to men sidelining women. Thank you so much, Ms. Nontandla. Advocate, you will not be defended by me. Colleagues, thank you. Thank you very, very much. I think I want to make the following observations, having listened to everybody. Well, a couple of questions might not have really been answered, but I think the honorable colleagues have decided to let those ones go because they are really not deal breakers. I think one thing that is coming out very clearly, Advocate and the team, the numbers are not adding up at all. These numbers, the colleagues have said so, and it is true that these numbers are the ones that were submitted by the DG at the last interaction we had a couple of months back, and the numbers seem to be the same. In fact, there is a lot. So the first task for you is that we need you to go back and relook at all these numbers, taking into consideration the questions that have been asked. Key to the questions is the numbers that you are giving, whether it's 2363 or whatever the number is it at the time that you check the numbers or is it up to date? very important to us is to understand whether, well, we know there is an increase. So we want to know the real numbers in all the categories that you have stipulated there. That is the first thing that is very, very important. The one question that was asked that was not responded to, and I would like it to be responded to when you update the numbers in writing, is how many vehicles have been impounded? Because every time you guys are presenting, if this doesn't happen, we will impound vehicles. How far or how many has been impounded? And if that could be a provincial breakdown, that could be totally appreciated. The issue of proclamation, it's a very interesting one. I think we do welcome it. One thing I didn't hear is to exactly when is it intended to be signed or brought into effect. That I will comment on a little bit. Now, the slide, I think it's number 11, that Honorable Hunsinga and I think Sis Nontlantla now just mentioned about the way forward, and I think it says way forward. One thing that I would like to see there, and I'm sure the members would agree with me, is time frames. You say you're going to do this, but there are no time frames. It would be nice if we could have time frames that are put there. Obviously, the other question, but I don't think it will change much, that was asked that was not responded to, is how did the department come away whenever it came away, whether it was 2005 or 2009. So it's something that was not really responded to, as it were. Now, as they always say, maybe you have put in the RTMC under the bus, but we'll be meeting them next week on the e-notice manipulation issue. So in summing up, my observation is that I don't get a sense that the department was alarmed or is shocked in any way of this conversion. I think the department is confining itself to what the public protector has said should be remedied, and therefore making it a tick box exercise. If I'm wrong, I'm sure I could be corrected at another time. So that really concerns me. And secondly, I don't get the sense that there's an agency to resolve these matters. But we are here to make sure that we will push until we see these matters resolved in the public protector's report, and things that we believe have been affected, as Honorable Hunsinga highlighted, example of ambulances and so forth. So on the proclamation, it would be nice, it would be useful for us to know, because I think record says it, that many things that you guys have asked the taxi industry to do, most of them they will not do. Now, it would be nice to know, as you respond to us, what is your enforcement plan? Once you say the taxi must be brought voluntarily, after 4 months, they don't bring it, you can't impound it. What is the plan to enforce that? So that we can be able to see exactly what's happening there. So in thanking you, I want to once more reiterate that we would like, through the Secretariat, one, to have the copy of the presentation you presented now, for the members to have a record. Two, that you kindly go back and revisit the numbers. I don't want to repeat the intricacies thereof. I'm sure you have listened and taken the notes. Also include, update the SIU feedback was very, very scanty in what you were reporting back on the SIU. We would like to get updated information there. and also to get an enforcement plan as it relates to the proclamation that you have given to us that the minister is planning to present. That is what I would like to summarize as colleagues, but also to give my colleagues an opportunity if there's something pertinent you feel I might have missed that you'd like us to get feedback on. Remember that this information is forming the basis as we meet other stakeholders going forward. Is there anything that you think is critical to us executing the job that we've been tasked to do? I'm inviting my honorable colleagues if they want to add on anything of what I've said.
Chair, if I may.
Who was that? Honorable McD?
Yes, Chair. I'm sorry I didn't raise my hand. Apologies.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Chair, I want to firstly thank you for your very on point summary of the proceedings of today. You were on the spot. You were proper. Your summing up of the process was perfect. I think that in light of what you have said and what the department has said, we must schedule a re-meeting with the department as soon as possible, but also invite the minister and the DG so that all these gaps that you have mentioned, Chair, that we can round up these gaps and close them so that we have the actual figures and the actual truth so that we can work, because it's no use working with something that we already find is a problem, Chair. And then as soon as possible have the meeting with the public protector to also get her insights on this, because we only read from a report. I'm sure that she's got better knowledge, because sometimes when you put something onto paper you lose the context of it, Chair. That's my submission, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Honorable McD. Honorable Sitole, anything from your side?
I'm fine.
Thank you, Mfanagit. Honorable Hunsinger, anything from your side?
Thank you, Chairperson. I think you summarized all the outstanding matters very adequately. And Chairperson, indeed, I think we have more direction following the responses by the department. And again, I want to thank Ms. Nkosi. I hope you note that I mentioned her first. And then Advocate Magatu and also Mr. Manamela. It's important, Chairperson, that we form an alliance with the department. In terms of the gaps that have been identified, it should be very clear to us that the parameters are set in terms of the content of the report, but it is clear that the problem is bigger than the content of the report. So I therefore want to suggest that we meet with the department regularly to then verify and go along with them step by step. But it's also important for them to realize our role in terms of oversight and in terms of representing the users of not just quantum vehicle taxis, because the scope of this investigation is wider and not just limited, as in the case of the public protector. So thank you, Chairperson, and I assume that there would be opportunity for us as a subcommittee to then also engage following this engagement. Thank you, Chairperson.
All right, thank you. I was kicked to touch, but I've rebounced in the field. Thank you very much for getting me back. You had wrapped up, Honorable Unsing, I'm sure. All right, thank you very much, colleagues. Advocate Makato and the team, thank you very much. I think importantly is what Honorable Hunsinger said, is that we are on one side, we are on one team. We want to get to the bottom of this and be able to find solutions, because at the end of it all, it shouldn't be about ticking the boxes of saying we have responded to this and that. Yes, that is important, but it is about saving lives and assisting those who might have lost money through unscrupulous financiers and unscrupulous dealers who might have caused them a lot of money. So that is at the end of the day our interest, to the best of our ability, to leave no stone unturned, to understand this and make proper recommendations of what needs to happen. So with that, I want to thank you, Advocate Makato, and the team. If you want to leave, you are more than welcome to do so as we wrap up the other matters of the committee. And if I may invite Ms. Carolse at this point, you did indicate by email that there are some slight changes on the 1st and the 2nd as it relates to the National Assembly program. I don't know, and it might affect our times and so forth. If I would invite you, please, to update the committee on that, or anything else that I might not have mentioned.
Yes, Mr. Mangu, when the committee met the last time, there were no plenaries planned for the 1st and the 2nd of December. So obviously the subcommittee could then meet for longer periods, but now there's a sitting on the 1st, the Tuesday, and there's a sitting on the 2nd. So there is a slight time change in terms of the duration of the meetings. On the Tuesday, the House will sit at 2, and I think the 2nd at 3. So I will keep members abreast of any other changes that might happen in terms of the program. So the subcommittee can still meet. It will just mean the subcommittee can't sit for 3 hours or 2.5 hours. It might mean an hour and a half up to 2 hours max, based on the time that the House is going to start. And it might affect how many agenda items can be covered in the meeting, especially on the Tuesday, the 1st of December.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that is straightforward, colleagues. We will see how it squeezes. I would also like to invite colleagues to look at the program and the brief outline, which is on our program for next week, as it relates to our meeting with the RTMC. And the reason I'm saying so is, as we reflect on what we received today from the department, the intention really is not for the subcommittee to become another portfolio committee where we get the same and the same old. We want to get the meat and get to where we want to get to. So if there are any suggestions, again, I want to invite us that even before meetings, let's interact and make suggestions, so that any interaction we have, whether it's an hour 30 minutes, it's impactful, it gives us the results that we want. But overall, I think we had a good start. Again, the team has prepared a lot of information, which we have. I want to encourage us again to go through it, so that it helps us to zoom into the things, to ask the right questions as it relates to frameworks that we have been given, as we had requested the last week or the last time we met. And for that, we are very grateful to everyone who made it possible that we have the information. With that, unless there is something very, very burning, Honorable Hunsinga, is your hand up?
Chair, we have to do minutes as well, Chair. Sorry for the interjection.
Oh, there are minutes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, that's better. Thank you very much.
Chairperson, I did want to make a suggestion, if I may.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Chairperson, as I see it, something that would be of great benefit to the subcommittee, we have indeed received substantive information on homologation and MIB, which is important from manufacturers' specifications point of view and of legal changes to those manufacturer specifications in terms of engineering standard and what is commonly known as the envelope, which are engineering specifications. What we heard today was a particular intervention by the department referring to retrofitment. And I would suggest, Chairperson, that as background, we ask the department to supply us with written information on what particular and what specifically this retrofitment involved, because the homologation documentation and technical specs around that, MIB, as well as retrofitment, would provide members of the committee with particular technical knowledge, which would be important going forward. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hunsinger. And I think the point is well taken. Can we go to the minutes, which I'm trying to get to? I'm trying to maneuver around here. You know, when you are sitting and listening to somebody else share, it's easy to just maneuver around. So now I'm trying to get to the minutes. Colleagues, did you receive the minutes?
Yeah. Chair, yes, I did receive the minutes, Chair. From the minutes that I have received, I would propose that the minutes be adopted, Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there a seconder for that?
Chairperson, indeed, I second.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much.
One
Yes,
issue and the program, are you adopting it as well as work as a program in progress?
Thank you, Ms. Carroll, sir. I do think that we are accepting and adopting the program as a living document as work in progress. As you rightfully said, the first and the second, there might also be further changes, but as a framework within which we are working, it's acceptable for us to work with it. Colleagues, any objection?
Zero objection, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Is that okay, Ms. Carlson?
That's okay.
Thank you very much. Anything else I've left? None. Thank you very much, colleagues. The meeting stands adjourned.
Long live the Chair, long live.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, colleagues.
Dankie, Chris. Colleagues, have a good day.